Chosen Vessels, what's the deal? It's Druuill, and I'm back at you again with another video. I need each and every vessel to hit that like button, hit that share button, and don't forget to subscribe. Let's get it. Whoever thought they were in charge of you wasn't at all. You're a free spirit and cannot be controlled by anyone. You know those people who think they're in charge of other people. They tend to exert themselves over others. They think they have a sense of power over you, but it's a false sense. They think they have power over other people, but they don't. And only the people who give them power over them are the people they're going to be in control of, right? So people are used to people giving into their needs. Some people want to be around people really bad. Some people think that other people are cool. So what they'll do is they'll give in to the way other people behave because they want a friend that bad, or they want to be around people that bad, or they want to be seen with someone that's cool. So you'll see this around people who are in cliques and who are in groups a lot. A lot of people who are in groups that tend to hang out with other people, and you'll ask yourself, why would this person hang out with someone like that? But they hang out with people like that because they want to fit in. A lot of people will give in to fit in, and they'll sell their soul, and they'll allow people to talk to them any kind of way. They'll allow people to treat them any kind of way just so they could fit in, or they could have people in their presence, or maybe they think they're not strong enough to be alone. But you shouldn't allow people to talk to you any kind of way just to have them around. But when people have people who submit to them like that, and they let people they let themselves treat them any kind of way, when people let people treat them any kind of way, they tend to think that they can get over on that with everybody. Or maybe it's because of who they think they are that they think that people are just supposed to treat them some kind of way. And you see this with people who are, some people who think they deserve special treatment. And we all know those kinds of people. People who feel that they deserve special treatment. People who feel they need to be above others or treated a certain type of way to feel better than others. And when sometimes people think they're better than you, they just automatically assume a position of superiority over you, or a position of power. And it's like, who is this person? You don't know who they are. And with the way they act, you don't want to know who they are. So you keep your distance from this person. Usually you keep your distance from all kinds of people like this. But when you keep your distance from them and don't want anything to do with them, they'll take that as a sign of weakness sometimes, because you don't engage with them and you stay away. But it's only because of who they are and how they act, and you not wanting that in your presence. But you know them, they have that mindset where if somebody's avoiding them, they feel that, oh, this person must be afraid of me. But you're not afraid of them. You're just non-confrontational. Not to say that you wouldn't deal with conflict or confrontation, but when it's unnecessary and there's nothing that you have to say, or you don't have to say anything, you just look at it as, why even bother? So if you don't have to say anything to someone, usually these people try to make you have to deal with them, and then you end up having to say something to them, and then they end up finding out that you just never liked them and you just never wanted anything to do with them. You are a free spirit, and no one is going to make you do anything, or no one's going to make you talk to them or be cool with them, or that they're just not going to have the amount of control over you like they have with other people. And there are people who will freely give this to them just so that way they can hang around them or be in their presence. It's a human nature to want to fit in. It's a common theme and a common factor in just, I guess, human nature, where people like to be in groups. People like to not be left out. People like to be around other people. And you'll see this when people who are around them are being treated less than they should. And you're wondering, why doesn't this person just not talk to this person? You'll see this in relationships. You'll see this with people sometimes. It'll be one person acting real evil and mean and nasty, and then the other person will be either a kind or a polite person. If you're a kind or a polite person, you don't need to be around people that are mean and that are nasty, because the longer you stay around them, they're going to think that you're tolerating their behavior. And if you do be around them, you don't want to have to constantly be correcting people or constantly having to go back and forth with people. Me personally, that just takes too much effort. I'm not going to constantly go back and forth with anyone if I don't have to. Why go back and forth with you if that's not what I like to do? Some people are non-confrontational. Some people like to have peace and like to be left alone, and they don't want an argument every 5 seconds. Some people, they like to go back and forth. They like to argue. They feel it makes them look a certain way. Some people will do this for attention. You know, if guys see a group of girls, they start to, buck up to show who's who, who's in control of the situation. And there's really nothing wrong with that. Me personally, I tend to not want to be around those kinds of situations. All right. I don't really, I don't mind being around people like that. And everybody does what they tend to do as far as who they are, what type of person they are. But everybody's different. And some people don't really, don't some people, it's cringy for them to be around that. And it's like, I understand that's how some people politic, that's how some people get down. But me personally, I'll probably be over in the corner by myself chilling and still be enjoying everybody, still be enjoying all the people, still be enjoying the festivities. But I'll just be by myself over there chilling somewhere, just enjoying my free time and enjoying my me time and having a good time with everybody. But I just won't be in the mix, depending on what kind of mix it is, because I don't want to get myself mixed up. But people will tend to put on a little show for people and see who's looking at them and see who's paying attention to them. And there's really nothing wrong with that. That's kind of normal. That's normal human behavior. But as far as succumbing to somebody else's behavior and the type of person that they choose to be, I'm not going to be going back and forth with anyone that's trying to appear to be like they're the best in the group, or they're the this in the group, or whatever. If I can't just chill with you and we can't just be, then I probably shouldn't be around you. But people are different. People are going to do things the way they want to do it. So I just do me, and I do things the way I want to do it. And that's the best thing you could do. But whoever they thought they were in charge of, I mean, they thought they were in charge of you, but they weren't thinking at all. And you always have people who think that they're in charge of someone else. And the people that think they're in charge of other people, they just don't realize how corny they are. All right. So that was just a little breakdown on the type of people that I would either associate with or wouldn't associate with. But people who think they're in charge of other people, they got what I like to call Angelica syndrome. All right, they have their narcissistic personality, but they have Angelica syndrome. It's like you're trying to just play, or you're trying to just be, and you have somebody trying to control how you're trying to play or how you're trying to be. When people are trying to control you, it's no fun. When someone's trying to make you to be something that you're not, that's no fun. No grown person is going to let somebody control them. People may get over that when they're a kid and they don't know what's going on. It's like, why do we always got to play what they want to play? But they don't know that this person is controlling. All right, they never really liked Angelica. They never really liked when she came around. Things weren't ever really any fun. All right, but it's always more fun when you are in control of yourself and you're able to do what you want to do, and you have your liberty, you have your freedom, you have your peace. All right, like there's a lot to this whole not being controlled by people thing. You have your peace, you have your freedom, you have your liberty to do what you want when you want, and no one should allow anybody to take that from them. So you'll have people in certain situations that feel that they have power over other people and people have to do what they say. That's just how some people are. They think that with the type of power that they have and with their level of assertiveness, that I guess they think they're the only ones that can be assertive, or they're the only ones that can get loud, or they're the only ones that can get in somebody's face. But it's really not the case. All right. um, People who think they want to control you, they're just misguided and they're just misdirected, and you have to guide them and direct them into the knowing of, nah, I'm not the type of person that you thought I was, and you can't get that off with me. People will get off with you what you let them. All right, nobody can make you do anything. Nobody can make you not do anything. No one can, stop you from doing anything. People give in to other people's negative behavior, or people make excuses because of what they went through, and they allow it to take them out. So don't allow the things that people do to take you out, and don't feel like you have to be overwhelmed or overpowered by something or someone. All right, some people at work, they like to do this at work a lot. People like to think they're in control of other people. Maybe they've been working there longer than you, or they know the manager, or they have friends at that job, or they just have some type of connection. So a lot of people will try to put themselves in a position where they feel that they're going to take a leadership role in your life. So when people try to do that, you have to know that this person is crazy, and you have to basically whip crazy into shape. Like a lot of people, they just need you to tell them what to do. A lot of people who trying to control you, you're actually supposed to be controlling them. People who try to control you, you're actually supposed to be controlling them, because you're the one that's peaceful. You're the one that's not trying to start any trouble. And you're the one who doesn't have the ego or the narcissistic personality. So without that, you're probably the one that's in a better position to be telling people what they need to do, because a lot of empaths, they make good leaders. And when you're a good leader, you're going to know you're going to know what to tell people. You're going to know how to deal with people. You're going to have better skills when it comes to dealing with people. And other people that don't have that skill, other people that aren't empaths, they're not good leaders. All right, one of the best skills of being a leader is being an empath, being able to put yourself in other people's shoes. So once you get comfortable, because I know a lot of people may not be comfortable in these types of situations. Some people, they're not comfortable telling people what they need to be told, but you're going to have to become comfortable with telling people what they need to hear, even if it's something that you don't feel comfortable saying. So it's all about you at the end of the day. Still, you have to be comfortable with telling people off sometimes, but you don't have to get ignorant. You just have to, tell them what it is. All right. So there are going to be people who think they have power over you. There are going to be people who think that they should be in a position of power over you, or they're your leader, and you just basically have to be defiant. All right, you don't have to be defiant to where you get yourself in trouble, but you have to be defiant in terms of, I'm not doing that. People will try to force people to do things. Like if you have a job, they might try to get you to do their work, or they may try to get you to stay later to finish something, or they just might try to take advantage of you some kind of way because they think they're, you know, a more powerful person. And sometimes people may look at you and their perception of you may not be good, or their perception of you may not be what you want it to be. So now this person thinks that because of their perception of you, they could treat you however they want. But all that takes is just some communication. All right, you have to communicate with people. You got to be assertive. You got to show them that you know how to stand up for yourself, and communication will help you do that. All right, some people don't really like confrontation. All right, some people are afraid of confrontation. If you're afraid of confrontation, if you're afraid of talking to people, that's an easy fix. All right, it's just people, it's just talking. There's really nothing to be worried about. You really have to go within yourself. Maybe it was a time where someone was disrespecting you. Maybe it was a time where somebody was talking to you the wrong way, and you never like got out of that mode of being afraid, or you never fixed that about yourself, or you never corrected that in your own head. So people see these things. People can see certain weaknesses and they take advantage of them. But if somebody is taking advantage of your weaknesses, that's a good thing, because it's a sign for you to change something. It's and that's the only thing good about it. It's obviously not good if somebody's taking advantage of your weakness, but if you have weaknesses and you are being taken advantage of, it could change. That's the good thing. So whatever things that are going on, that you're going through, that you don't like, it could be changed. You don't have to continue to go through that. It's not something that you have to continue to endure. It's something that you can change. It's something that you can fix. So that's the good thing about that, because a lot of people get into certain situations, and because of like the way they were raised or how they were brought up, like when your parents were talking to you and you had to deal with your parents, you might not have had any say. You might not have had any control. All right, they may have had control over you. They may have talked to you in a way that made you afraid instead of talking to you in a way that put power in you. So now you may deal with a position of fear to where you're afraid of what somebody might say or what someone might do, because that's just how you've been your whole life. So you're not necessarily afraid. You've just been programmed to handle confrontation and to handle dealing with people a certain way. So all you have to do is work that out within yourself. Like a lot of people, they go to therapy for stuff like this. A lot of people talk to like a psychologist for stuff like this, but it's something that you can fix yourself. All you have to do is change your idea and how you perceive yourself. Like a lot of people will get into certain situations where people try to be controlling, and they just automatically give in, and they don't know why. It's like, I don't want to do it. I don't like the way this person is talking to me or dealing with me, but people will still deal with people who talk to them in the wrong way or deal with them in a way they don't want to be dealt with. And they don't know why. They can't stand up for themselves, but their inner child is still afraid, still scared, still shook, and it's probably because of how they were dealt with when they were a child, or possibly something that happened to them that was traumatic. So you have to look within yourself and really like do some soul searching and find out whatever caused that to happen, whatever caused you to have fear, whatever caused you to be afraid. Because look back to a time where you didn't have any fear, and when you weren't afraid, and when you felt free and you could speak up for yourself, and you didn't have a problem dealing with confrontation, or you didn't have a problem telling people what was on your mind. You have to look up, you have to look back to when that started, and to see what might have caused you to possibly not be able to do that anymore. Who was the person that said whatever to make you not be able to be comfortable talking to people or dealing with people or handling situations? Because if you're the type of person that gets afraid, or you feel some type of fear in these situations, that's normal. It's normal to be afraid, but you're not supposed to be afraid to the point to where you can't do anything, you can't speak up, you can't say what's on your mind. You think you're going to die or somebody's going to kill you just because you speak your piece. And some of us are dealing with that. All right, a lot of people may not like to admit that, but that's something that people deal with, and it's something that you can fix. So regardless of what happened, or how you were raised, or how you were brought up, or how people talk to you to make you feel that way, it's not something that has to stay. It's something that you can correct. All right. So a lot of people been dealing with like this type of behavior with themselves for years, and they're not sure what to do. They don't think they'll ever get over it. All right, a lot of people feel stuck. All right, a lot of people get stuck in freeze mode, or they have a freeze response. And when certain things happen, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to say. They don't know how to react because of how they've been dealt with previously their whole life. All right, and there are certain things that happen in life which cause people to deal with situations a certain way. So you just have to go back in your mind and how you view yourself and correct how you deal with situations. If you deal with situations the way you don't want to, see yourself dealing with the situation in a way that you would, because you can correct that in your mind with how you see yourself and what you think about yourself. A lot of people tend to think negatively about themselves. Like, before somebody else can see something about you, it's probably something that you see about you. And before anybody else looks at you a certain way, it's probably a way that you're looking at yourself. So, with that being said, all you have to do is change the way you see yourself, and that's going to do a big number in how you deal with other people and how people view you, because people view you how you view yourself. All right, if you see yourself as a worm, people are going to step on you. If you view yourself as someone that can't handle themselves, that's how other people will see you. So other people's perception, you may just be feeling that also. It may be somebody's perception. Maybe you're not their idea of someone that is someone that's worthy of respect, but you don't have to be. So that's the beauty of that. That's the magic of that. Somebody feels that they don't have to respect you, that's fine, but they better keep it to themselves, because sometimes people will try to put themselves above other people. And when they do that, you just have to act like that person is crazy, and you wouldn't take anything that they say of value or for value. And whatever this person says, whatever they do, I'm just going to disregard it. I'm not even going to feed into it. I'm not going to give into it. If you feed into it and give into it, you're showing this person that they have some type of power, some type of control. But if you don't, then that person has no power or no control. So it's really just, it really all boils back down to how you're going to allow someone to deal with you. All right, so how are you going to let people deal with you? You know how you want people to deal with you. You're not going to let anybody deal with you in a disrespectful way. So whatever you don't want to tolerate, you don't have to tolerate. Whatever you don't want to take, you don't have to take it. These people might be an authority figure, but they're not your parents. All right, you're not a child anymore. You're a grown adult. But some people are stuck in certain pathways of their mind as far as how they deal with people because of how they were dealt with in the past. So I know I'm not the only one that deals with this, but if you're dealing with a situation like this, you just have to think back to when this may have first started and correct yourself and start to reimagine the type of person that you are, because the things that you go through, they paint a picture for us as far as how we perceive ourselves, how we look at ourselves, how we believe ourselves. A lot of people will have a bad situation or something happen to them, and now they become that person that went through that situation. You're not the person that went through that situation, but you have to see yourself being out of that situation and see yourself as not being that person that people want you to be, or how they perceive you, or someone tells you you're something not to believe it. Like, a lot of people will tell you things about yourself, and then people will actually go believe it, and then they wonder why they aren't able to love themselves the way they want, or look at themselves with respect, or see themselves in a positive light. It's because you're believing things about yourself that aren't true. Somewhere along the line, somebody either said something to you or caused you to think a certain way, or somebody that was being the type of person that they shouldn't have been caused you to perceive yourself in a certain way. So now you don't look at yourself too positively. A lot of people who let people talk to them any kind of way or control them, they haven't really discovered themselves. They have low self-esteem, and it's something that they need to improve and something that they need to work on. And you definitely can improve that, and you definitely can work on it. But it's going to call for you to start looking at yourself differently. And that, believe it or not, that's easier said than done. A lot of people want to be seen a certain way, but they're looking at themselves in the opposite way. So however you want to be seen, you have to see yourself as that first. A lot of people who create characters for themselves, a lot of people who have a name or an alias, all right, they've created a character for themselves. These people aren't using their real names. These people have ideas about themselves, and whatever name they're under, that's how they see themselves. Like somebody will have a name, their name will be Chattius Bright Light Willington the Third, but this person, everybody knows them as J Money or something. So it's like J Money, whose name is really Bright Life Wellington, Beef Wellington the Third, or whatever, Squilliam Fancy Son. This person's name now is J Money, and they take on this alias and they take on this character. So people are just taking on a character. People are using other people. Or a lot of people aren't even using themselves. People have heroes. Somebody that's real rough and somebody that's real tough. A lot of people will take that person and take on that energy and pretend that they are that person and see themselves as that person. These people aren't seeing themselves as who they are. They're seeing themselves as somebody else. And whoever they're seeing themselves as is the person that they want to be. So they take the person that they want to be and they perceive themselves as that. So people are out here acting like somebody that they want to be seen as. All right. But you're probably real and you're probably not trying to be fake. But the thing is, you still have to do some acting. All right. This is the world stage. You don't have to be fake and you don't have to act like something that you're not. But it's going to come a time to where you're going to have to switch modes and switch moods and possibly put on some different hats to be a different kind of person for a different kind of situation where, respect is guaranteed. All right. So that, shout out to everybody that had people talk to them crazy when they were younger and didn't know any better, and it kind of changed your perception of yourself, but you never gave up and you still saw yourself in a positive light, and you got out of that negative mental space to where you viewed yourself as being less than, or not being strong, or not being or being mentally weak. All right, a lot of people, they have to admit it, but they might be mentally weak. You might need to toughen up. You might need some mental strength. You might need some mental